Host of First Things First, which debuts on September 5th,
Yeah.
right here on FS1.
Yeah.
Cris Carter,
That's
welcome
terrible.
back.
Yeah.
If in fact the bus speak after hours, right? Then he's just going to talk your ear off relentlessly.
Chris, we've been talking the whole day. We talk about what we're going to talk about coming on the show.
There ain't no need to sleep. So you know what? When in the morning, we wake up a lot smarter.
So why are you smiling? And he's got
Yeah, you look so mean.
scowl.
That's his game face.
Game face, yeah. I had to get ready.
That's your scary face.
Yeah, Skip.
They did a good
I
job
need to go in
of
there. I need
those.
to make sure there wasn't no dust on him, was it, Chris?
No. You're good.
Keep them clean.
Yeah.
Well, welcome back, Chris. Chris, let's talk about a guy you know well, Ezekiel Elliot. The Cowboys are still waiting to hear if Zeke will be suspended to start the season. And Jerry Jones was asked about a possible suspension on Friday. Let's take a listen.
I do not anticipate a suspension. I don't want to basically be too let's say proactive about how I feel, because that's not going to make any difference here at all. What I don't do is hurt things about how I feel, and so that's that. But I think that when you look at everything that I'm aware of, then I'm not anticipating a suspension.
Chris, what are you hearing about the suspension?
You know, contrary to what Jerry's hearing, I've heard that we shouldn't be surprised, and especially after you've played this extra preseason game. Now, people will try to say, because Jerry was being inducted in the Hall, well, maybe the league didn't want the suspension or a potential suspension to come out during the Hall of Fame week. And that really has nothing to do with it. If you look at the starting DB for Atlanta Falcons, Collins, he just got suspended.
10 games.
And this is really kind of when the league starts. That fifth preseason game for Hall of Fame week. But this is really the 4 weeks. Now, for me, in the next 48 hours, I would be shocked if Zeke was not suspended. Like, I'll be shocked.
Why?
If we get to Thursday, because based on the information that's going to come out,
Right.
it's going to be fairly easy to determine that something happened to this woman in her 4 days of being with Zeke. Now, we're not talking about, this is just pure either assault or domestic violence. So I'm being sensitive because there is a victim here.
Right.
You know, so for me, it's a great opportunity to continue to learn. We've learned an awful lot in the last 2 years dealing with the National Football League and its players being involved in altercations. And there's been a precedent set, not only on the assault and domestic violence side, saying that there would be a minimum 6 games on that side, but there was a precedent set with the GOAT and Tom Brady when they suspended him for on-the-field conduct 4 games. So the brightest star that we have in our game, Tom Brady, they suspended him. And when the information comes out, there's going to be some similarities as far as what happened. Information that he had been advised possibly to give up that was destroyed. So there's going to be a number of things that will come out that people will be able to determine not only did something happen, who was the person responsible for that, and the precedent's been set in the league with Tom with a 4-game suspension. So that part right there, you know, I don't want to get into exactly what he's going to get, but from what I'm hearing, it will be, based on those 2 precedents, it will be in that range.
So some information the league is aware of did not get to the 2 police departments that investigated in Columbus, Ohio and Fort Lauderdale, Florida, right? Because they both cleared, he was never charged, right? They didn't find enough to charge him,
Right.
right?
Now, based on the NFL has a panel of experts, that being people in law and also professional doctors,
that deal with this kind of stuff with women being abused and how they will respond to certain situations.
Yes.
So they probably called the lady in.
Yes. I mean, and people, there is a witness. It's her, an eyewitness. She was there. So Jerry, I understand. No, I understand what he's saying. But there's going to be very disturbing information that will be released. Now, we've seen the pictures. I mean, the pictures have started to kind of, leak out there and everything. So what happened to her in these 4 days when she was with him, that will be kind of the crux of what the investigation and his punishment will be based on.
So why would Jerry Jones, the owner of the Dallas Cowboys, now in the Hall of Fame, repeatedly say, quote unquote, there's nothing there to her accusations, and went so far as to, as we saw in this clip that we just saw, I do not anticipate a suspension, and then ended it by saying, I don't want to do anything to hurt things, which it would seem to me he's just daring them, right? He's defiant about this.
We saw the same thing. Same thing happened with Tom. I mean, they'll take it to their grave. All right, Mr. Kraft, I've talked to him this offseason. Like they will go down. Like, I understand Jerry. Jerry is the public defender for the Dallas Cowboys and has been for 30 years. So the public defender, they represent the guilty and the innocent.
Right.
Jerry is the dad. There is no better dad in the NFL than Jerry Jones.
No question about
For his
that.
players.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
Because that's how he treats them. And you mentioned Skip. In this thing, he mentioned Tony Romo. He said Tony Romo didn't win a championship, didn't play for a conference championship, but he said Tony Romo was under more pressure than any other quarterback, Staubach, Aikman, that won and was expected to win.
Yep.
But Tony Romo had more pressure. So it lets you know how he feels about his guy. I always felt.
It also lets you know, too, that he has his own reality.
Correct.
Because Troy Aikman was the first pick in the draft, 1 in 15. There was a little pressure there.
Yeah.
We couldn't even win the job his first year.
Exactly.
Time with Steve Walsh.
Yeah, there was a little pressure there.
I've always felt that Zeke was going to get some kind of punishment. And people were quick to say, well, there's no charges, there's no charges. But when you got 7 or 8 incidences involving Cowboys and the common denominator is Zeke Elliott, something is going on here. Now, all of a sudden, the victim said that was Zeke Elliott that hit me. Then the next day, and subsequent days, they can't find him. Ain't nobody want to talk. Now, all of a sudden, he's going to be showing up on the sideline for the Cowboys. I'm not saying, Skip, he got to get some tickets, but I'm saying, Skip, he's going to be showing up on the sideline. He's going to be in the box.
Because there's two things, too, here. Is Zeke, does he really know what wrong is? Because he didn't help himself. Like, his conduct in all the other things did not help this.
Right.
Now, what do they have to do with either? It has to do with reputation. And the other thing is, if after seeing the photos and after the information comes out, if there is no punishment, what are we creating? Like, what do we? Is he superhuman? He's above the law? He's above the morals? The conduct the man should conduct himself with a woman? Like, where is he there? That's a question I would ask myself and any other person that might be close to the situation.
And then the Mardi Gras thing with the putting the lady's top down.
You mean St.
St. Patrick's Day, excuse me. I mean, that's what. And then you in the bars, and obviously, a lot of times what's involved. Skip, you say what's involved. Alcohol and it breaks down your inhibitions. It doesn't change your behavior. It changes, you are what you are. You think whatever you thought about sober, they say that the drunken man is a sober man's thought.
Absolutely.
And you see here, Skip, I'm telling you, it's going to be hard for me to believe that the NFL does not suspend Zeke Elliott for at least 2 to 4 games. Now, what Chris is saying that if this information that the NFL has, and that they're going to talk about what they know as opposed to what because Jerry probably doesn't know this. NFL is going to come down.
I'm pretty certain that the NFL in 2017, given what they've been through in the last 2 years, it's just a hunch. They're going to lay it out so the public can read it. Bam, 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 bam. It's going to be clear.
Crystal.
So how will this make the investigators and the police departments in Columbus and Fort Lauderdale look when all this is made public? Will it make them look like they were remiss in doing their homework?
Well, the fact of the matter is they can feel however they want to feel. You know, the NFL, the scrutiny that we're under, there is no fandom when it comes to the players. And that was the problem a couple years ago. Was the league doing things to give the players the benefit of their doubt or keeping information from the public? You know, what they did in Columbus and what they did in Dallas, man, they have sworn an oath unto themselves to do their job the best that they can do. But Roger Goodell and those at the league office, they have sworn an oath to the public, because the reason why the NFL benefits is because publicly we have made it the most popular sport in America.
Right. Plus, the NFL can sometimes get into places that police departments, you know, because of the laws in different places can't get into.
And
They can get
especially-
information sometimes that they can't get.
If we really want to find out the information,
Right. So,
I'm gonna look a little harder. But if I don't,
yeah.
ain't nothing. I don't see that cup.
Well, we'll see what happens in the next 2 days. Good stuff, Chris. Will Colin Kaepernick ever get another job in the NFL?